Competing in my first bodybuilding competition was without a doubt the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my entire life. But holy shit, was it ever the hardest thing I have ever done in my whole life. If you're watching this video because you're considering competing in a bodybuilding competition, I'm really excited for you. Competing in a bodybuilding competition will test your absolute limit, and if you can come out the other end, you'll be a stronger person for it. So please, learn from my mistakes. Here are 5 things that I wish that I knew before my first bodybuilding competition.
Number 1, prep is all-consuming.
The commitment of completing a successful prep will demand something from absolutely every aspect of your life. You will have to miss social events because you need to make room in your schedule for the ungodly amount of time that you spend at the gym every day. You will have to pass up on invitations to go out for meals because, lucky you, you've got a hot date with 3 soggy tilapia fillets and a cup of peas. That cup of peas being the closest thing you've had to a piece of fruit in 3 weeks. You will have to wake up really early so that you can meal prep, because the idea of not having a meal prepped and having to miss it is enough to bring tears to your eyes, even though you're starting to hate everything you eat every day. Make no mistake, bodybuilding prep is hard. And what people don't understand is that this is 100% a mental sport. Yes, you get up on stage and it's your physique that the judges are, well, judging, but your physique is really just a physical manifestation of the discipline and the drive that you had throughout the months leading up to your show. The price of success in this sport is sacrifice, and the sacrifice demanded of you is everything.
Number 2, posing, posing, posing.
At my first show ever, I took home 2nd place in True Novice Classic Physique, 3rd place in Open Classic Physique, and a 3rd place finish in True Novice Men's Physique. And you know what one thing I single-handedly attribute to me doing this well at my first show?
I smartened up and I practiced the shit out of posing. Posing can absolutely be the make or break between you coming in first or last. I know for a fact that there were guys that I beat at my show who objectively had better physiques than me, but it was so obvious that they had never even taken a single posing lesson. The number 1 piece of advice that I have, and the number 1 thing that I would do differently if I could go back and do it all over again, is I would have started posing from the very beginning of my prep, which was about 6 months out from the show. On that note, I would highly recommend hiring an actual posing coach. While you might be able to get by just from watching some YouTube videos and kind of mirroring what you see, nothing can match the experience of having an actual person with you, looking at you from every single angle and helping you fine-tune your poses, not only so that you're objectively hitting your poses in a correct way, but also so that you're posing in a way that complements your specific physique. I have pretty large obliques, which means I don't have a very narrow waist. So when I worked with my posing coach, we were really creative with angles so that we could create that illusion of a very small waist. If I had just watched YouTube videos, maybe the guy genetically just has a small waist and doesn't comment on that. I go up on stage and now I'm unprepared. I know for a fact that I had the confidence that I did on stage because after months and months of practicing my posing, I had my posing coach, who himself is an Olympian and an IFBB pro, Antoine Hamlet. He told me that I was ready. But the bottom line is, you cannot beat the experience of having a posing coach in your corner. It is expensive, but it's worth every single penny. Speaking of things being expensive, my next piece of advice is...
Number 3, prep ain't cheap.
I massively underestimated the cost of bodybuilding as a sport. When you add up all of the expenses, posing coaching, prep coaching.
Keeping Hart.
Yeah, that's me.
You're late.
Oh, my bad. Protein powder, supplements, the posing suits that you'll actually wear on stage, the cost of enrolling in the competition itself. You're easily looking at thousands and thousands of dollars. What, my watch? On screen right now is a full breakdown of all the costs I incurred during my prep. This is all in. So we're talking groceries, coaching, registration, all of that. If you want a more detailed breakdown, you can pause the screen now and have a closer look.
Number 4, insane time commitment.
If you already feel like you live at the gym, then you're probably thinking, just like I did, how much more time can I possibly spend here? Let me answer that question, all of it. At the end of my first prep, I was spending 4 hours a day in the gym. Doing a bodybuilding prep is kind of like taking on a part-time job in terms of the time commitment. So if the idea of adding a part-time job to your current schedule right now is unfathomable to you, it might not be the best time in your life for you to consider a prep. As you get closer and closer to your show day, your cardio is going to be up to 2 hours of incline treadmill walking, and that's on top of the hour to an hour and a half that you'll spend in the weight room. And you need to find a way to carve that out of your schedule every single day. Not to mention, of course, tanning time. During my prep, I was a full-time university student, and my university was an hour and a half away, so add in a 3-hour-a-day commute, and I was working part-time. So I'm not saying any of this to discourage you. It absolutely can be done no matter how hectic your life is. You just need to be very cognizant of what your priorities are. I didn't have any free time or personal time. My personal time was the time that I was spending here at the gym. So the bitter pill to swallow might be that your Netflix time is now treadmill time. Fortunately, the treadmill is a great place to watch Netflix, so you can definitely get around it with a little clever planning in advance.
Number 5, you will become an inspiration.
I was very, very public about my bodybuilding journey and kind of like vulnerable. So obviously, like, that probably plays into this being the case. I shared how insanely difficult this journey was at times and how I faced frustration, hopelessness, and even depression.
I'm honestly like a little depressed.
I talked about how many times I felt like I really had and wanted to quit, but refused to ever do it. But in posting these videos and making this journey public, I didn't really think at first that anyone was really listening. But the reality was shocking to me. I received dozens of messages throughout my prep when I would post from close friends and family, but also from people that I hadn't talked to in years, reaching out to tell me how my journey was inspiring them and how it made them feel like they could take on a big challenge too. Every time that I wanted to quit, I could take comfort in the fact that people believed in me and they had my back. That was really a driving force to keep me going when things got really hard. When you start your bodybuilding journey, you're undertaking a mission that 99% of people couldn't even imagine themselves doing, much less actually commit to doing. When you do something like this, you take some seemingly impossible challenge and you refuse to give up and you stay committed, you inspire the people around you. And even if you're not as vocal about it as I was, posting on YouTube and Instagram and anywhere else that I could make this everyone else's business, the people at your gym will absolutely notice, and they'll come up to you and they'll have questions. They'll let you know how amazing your transformation looks. It can be really encouraging. I really hope that if you are truly excited about and passionate about doing your first bodybuilding competition, that you rise to the challenge and you break through the obstacles as you face them, because you will face them. But it's the strength of character that develops through learning that you can overcome anything that is by far the most rewarding part of bodybuilding. You'll come out the other end a stronger and more disciplined version of yourself. The best version of yourself. Learning what you're capable of as a human, that's the true reward of completing your first show, whether you go home with a medal around your neck or not. That's all from me for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I've got the videos from my vlog series of my first show here. You can hit the subscribe button, like the video, and if you have any questions at all, drop them in the comments. I will reply to every single comment. And if you have like a more in-depth question, I'll make a video just to answer it for you. If you'd specifically like that, write that in your comment and I'll make a short just for you to answer your question. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.